part 2 on mental health because I kept on rambling because that's what I do because I get excited and just start talking. Anyways, mental health in this country is just so prevalent. It's so prevalent, y'all. But also, what is the most prevalent thing in this country? Sin, temptation, bad stuff, bad thoughts, addictions, lust, greed, gluttony, you name it. All these things that are put in front of us for us to want to chase and want to keep up with, to obtain. All these things that we're so worried about everybody else, just reputation, society, all these things that are so caught up in our heads. With social media, the way it's become, like it makes you want to compare to other people. It makes you worry about your life, and worry about other people's lives and not your own, and think that you're worthless because you're not as good as this person. You're not doing as good as this person. This person does this person does that. Then you add in family tragedies and traumas and deaths and so many things in the world can make your soul break, your heart break. Everything about you just breaks. This world is not created, that's a bad way to put it, because God didn't create us to be like this. He didn't want us to be like this. But this world has developed into nothing but trying to make us broken, to break us, to destroy our spirits, where we don't think about nothing but that anxiety, that and mental health, the poor mental health, the depression, all the stuff, all the things that are bad in the world that keeps you distracted from what is important and what you should be doing. Because if you have all those distractions, if you have all this stuff going through your head, why would you ever stop to think about anything positive, about God, about what God did, about Jesus, about faith, about light, about anything that's good in this world? Because you can't think about the good, you can't think about any of that stuff when you're stuck in all this negative and all these things that are going on in your life. You can't focus on that because there's so much crap on you, there's so much negative, there's so many things you've dealt with in your life that has brought you to a point where you don't want to chase the good, you don't want to be the good, because you have been this for so long, this is what you want to be, and you don't think you can get out of it. And that's the farthest from the truth. It is the farthest from the truth. Gosh. And I've been there. I was there. I did it. I stayed in that pit for so freaking long, and I stayed in it. And I didn't want to think about God. I didn't want to think about anything. I just wanted to stay in my little pity me pit, in my depression pit, and just not ever get out. And that's not good for anybody. It wasn't good for me. Trust me. 2 Corinthians 12:9 says, "But he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you. My power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore I will boast all more gladly of my weaknesses, so that the power of Christ may rest upon me." Another good one. Jesus is actually saying right there, you are weak. It's okay. I know you're weak. Why don't you accept that you're weak? Know that you're weak. I am here. I know you can't do those things. I knew you couldn't do these things. I'm just waiting for you to show up and admit that and let me help you. And that comes back to pride, and you can't do that because you're pride and everything, blah, blah, blah. Submission is such a problem for all of us because we are in a society where submission and surrender and denying yourself is not at the top of the list of things that any of us want to do, because we think we are freaking everything, and that's the biggest problem. We don't submit, so we are not ever gonna say we're weak. I didn't want to say I was weak. Nope, I still don't. But now I've finally come to terms with it, but I don't like to admit it. But here we are. Anyways, Jeremiah 17:9 says, "The heart is..." I already did that one. Proverbs 17:22, "A joyful heart is good medicine, but a crushed spirit dries up the bones." God wants you to be joyful. God wants you to think of the good. God wants you to have that positivity. Because when you have those things, it completely changes your mindset and the way you walk through life. Because if you have that light, why are you going to focus on any of that stuff? Why are you going to focus on the bad mental health? Why are you going to focus on all the things that's causing your bad mental health? You don't, because you have that joy. You have that spirit that's just is different from everybody else, that makes you set apart from everybody else. And it makes you feel like so much better of a person when you can Set all that negative aside and actually do those things. And it's not always easy. It's not easily done. I'm not saying it is easy. It is not easy. It takes a lot of freaking... I think it takes more strength to be positive and be light than it ever does to be negative. John 10:10 says, the thief comes only to steal, kill, and destroy. I came that they may have life and have it abundantly. The thief could be the devil. The thief could be Satan himself. The thief could be your abusive parents. The thief could be your financial problems. The thief could be your poor mental health. The thief can be the addictions that you hold on to. All these things that are bad in the world can have that ability to kill, steal, and destroy, because it is not of God. It is the thief. It is not of God. And of all these things that are not of God, that's what it's going to do. Kill, steal, and destroy. Your everything. Your head, your mind, your soul, your ability to function. It's gone. It's gone. And he says, I came that they may have life and have it more abundantly. So get rid of that thief, get rid of that evil, get rid of that negativity, and you go after him, because he is going to get rid of all that stuff. If you let him. If you let him. That's the problem. Right. I think that was the end of my mental ones. Yeah, that was the end of mental ones. I don't know. Mental health is so... It's such a... It's terrible. It's terrible. I know we all struggle, and there's not many people in this world that doesn't have those problems. If you don't have them, kudos to you. You've had... Either you were just a stone cold person, or you've had a fantastic life and you have nothing ever happened to you to make you think one way or the other, whatever. Kudos to you, because what's that like? What's that like not to have anything? But this world wasn't built for that. This world is literally built to keep us in that state, to keep us in that pit. And God knew that. He didn't want it. Of course he didn't want it. He don't want us to be like this. He doesn't want any of us to suffer like this. He doesn't want that for us. But nonetheless, it's here. And he is there anytime, day or night, like a phone call. You can talk to him and be like, just let it go. And all jokes aside, just let it go and completely decide from that moment on, this is not what you want to focus on. This is not who you want to be. And this is what I'm going to let go. And give him a shot. What do you have to lose? Give it a shot. People might think you're crazy. Who cares? They already think you're crazy because you're mental health. So what does it matter? I was in that boat. Trust me. What does it matter what people think? Like, oh my gosh, you chase Jesus. Or, oh my gosh, you think God's going to fix all this. Oh my gosh, God this, God that, God this. Well, guess what? I can tell you who I was versus with him and without him. And I would choose that. And I would ridicule every single day of my life if it meant I feel like I do now. And I know what I know now. And I can live like I do now over any bit of ridicule anybody could ever give me. I'm like, I can tell them kick rocks. Biblically. May your crops wither and dry. But it's worth it. I don't understand people's hang-ups on wanting to let go and let God, and why it's such a controversial subject to want to talk about God and let him do what he was always meant to do, and what he wanted to do, and what he came to do. But now people make fun of it, and that just drives me stupid. But I think if more people actually had more stock into that, I really, truly believe mental health would be a less of a prevalent thing in this country if we actually just put God in the middle of it. Let God fix it. Let God take it, because what are you gonna lose?